So you two, dig up dinosaurs?
Oh.
Try to. Yo. Yo. Yo.
And we're back. What's going on, guys? Missed you all so much from doing this podcast. If you're just now tuning in, welcome to Tuned In Live, our weekly podcast right here on Arrow with a Name, right on Twitch. You can also catch the reruns on our YouTube channel, Arrow Entertainment. Hop on over there and subscribe today. Also, for updates on when we're going to be streaming and what we're going to be streaming next, be sure to follow us on Twitter at ArrowOfficial17. Also, we are on Facebook.com/Arrow with a Name. Same thing with Patreon. If you want to help support us today, join up for $1. It's $1 to join. Become a patron today for Arrow with a Name Entertainment at Patreon.com/Arrow with a Name. How's everybody doing? Good to be back. I was going to host a podcast yesterday, but I was just too tired. I was actually too tired. I went to bed pretty late Thursday night. Usually, like with my work schedule, because I work overnights, my sleep schedule is kind of off. Like, I'm used to going to bed at late hours and, in the night and early morning hours, like around, 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. But in this case, I couldn't sleep until like 6 o'clock Friday morning, so I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. And plus, I had to, I was interrupted briefly out of my sleep yesterday morning to deal with something personal, and then I got back to sleep, and I didn't really wake up till around close to 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I was like, it's too late. Just like today, I woke up around 2 o'clock. I don't know why I was up around 2. Should have been 1, but here I am, live with you guys. And of course, I do work tonight, so this ain't going to be a long podcast. Usually they last about an hour. So before I get into today's articles I had up here for the last 2 weeks, actually, some of these articles I was meaning to read 2 weeks ago. You probably already read them. If not, good. I can, go ahead and skim over them for you. I do want to go ahead and put out there. Now, if you're a horror movie buff, like I am, I grew up on horror movies. It's one of my favorite genres when it comes to, the film industry. I love horror movies. I love action, comedy, depending. Comedy, it just depends. Like the older comedies, like from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, such like that, they're good comedies. There are some decent comedy movies that come out, these day and ages. The rare ones. Hey, what's going on, Wolf? Welcome, man. Always good to have you in the chat, buddy. But yeah, comedies are hard to come by, especially good ones that are really, really make you laugh. Like the last one that really made me laugh was the action comedy movie Deadpool 2. Awesome movie. I recommend you guys go and see it. It should be coming out on Blu-ray and DVD here within the next month or so. That movie really made me laugh. But when it comes to horror, that's even a tricky one nowadays too. You rarely get any good horror movies to come out nowadays, especially like, mostly they're like ghost, paranormal type stuff, or now they're trying to get back into the creature features, that kicked off the whole thing like in the early 1900s, like with Dracula and stuff like that. So they're trying to revive that kind of horror element. So where I'm getting at is today, it actually started out last night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's going all the way on till tonight around 9 or 10 o'clock on Shudder. Now, Shudder is a subscription service that you pay $5 a month to watch horror movies. Now, they do have some exclusives that they put on there. They look like cheesy exclusives, but they also have a bunch of classic horror movies on there as well. I was watching one the other night when I couldn't get to sleep called Cube, which was an interesting horror movie. it kind of felt like Saw, like the Saw series, but there was really nobody in particular that put them in this cube. It's a maze basically, and each cube that they crawl into, they got to make sure it's ensure that it's either safe to crawl into, or if it's booby trapped in some horrific way. Anyway, it is a pretty good movie. I watched it on there. Shudder. Right now, if you sign up for Shudder today on your mobile device, there is a 7-day free trial. You could try it out. At the end of the 7 days or before then, you can cancel at any time. They're not going to charge you if you're trying out the trial. Going on right now is a 24-hour marathon hosted by the legendary Joe Bob Briggs. If you're unfamiliar with who Joe Bob Briggs is, he used to host the Friday night program on TNT back in the 90s called Monster Vision. Monster Vision was a weekly event every Friday night from 8 p.m. all the way up to 6 a.m. the next morning, filled with nothing but horror movies. And he was a brilliant host. He would talk about the movies, he would add in trivia and stuff like that, ramble on. He was one of the best hosts for any kind of program. And that was his thing. He hosted a bunch of different programs back in the day, even including with the dealing with the old drive-in theaters. The drive-in theaters where you pull up, you put the speaker up to your window, you sit out there in your car and watch the movie on the big screen outdoors and stuff like that. He's a big fan of the old outdoor shit, the drive-ins and all. But right now he does have he's doing this program. It's 24 hours. I don't think it's actually live, because if you're hosting a 24-hour marathon, you got to have sleep somewhere. So this is called The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and this is the last time that he is actually doing it. You got to appreciate the kind of work that he does when it comes to talking about horror movies and just discussing them. Like, in between the certain parts of the movie, it'll go to like a quote unquote commercial break where he's talking a little bit about the scenes that you currently watched, and he's giving a little bit of trivia about the movie, and then he'll be like, all right, back on with the show. And that's how it was with Monster Vision. And whenever they would play the movie and it'd go to commercial break, they would go to talk, he would talk for a little bit, then they would go to commercials, but there is no commercials with Shudder. Plus, all the movies are uncensored, so you're going to get all the you're going to get all the profanity, you're going to get all the nudity, all the graphic scenes. You ain't got to worry about anything unedited, which is pretty cool. And plus, I love how they let Joe Bob unleash himself. Like he's amazing, with the profanity. I mean, he's a big fan of horror movies himself. And when he talks about it, when he gets into, discussing horror movies, he really gets into it. Like last night, I was unable to get on for the first 2 or 3 hours because everybody was so much in demand of wanting to watch Joe Bob that their server was fucking overloading. I couldn't log on. I couldn't pull the app up and shit for like 2 hours. It was actually kind of pissing me off a little bit that I could not watch him for the first hour or so, be there for the opening of it. Hopefully I'll be there for the ending tonight. But I was able to get in after like 2 hours, and they started hosting the movie Sleepaway Camp, which I already knew the basis of it. I already knew the ending, but I'd never really seen the movie. So, watching the movie, and plus, he's doing these in-between breaks where he's talking with the actress who played the girl in the movie, of course. And then the ending came. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but let's just say he was talking to the actress about, what would you do? It was something about a mutated dick or something like that. And it was fucking hilarious. Somebody even posted it on fucking Twitter. But yeah, I don't know what movie they're doing right now. I know a little bit later on I'm going to tune into it, watch the last few horror movies. He said they're saving the best for last, so hopefully there's some pretty good ones I can sit there and watch, and then, come 9, 10 o'clock when he goes off the air. I mean, everybody's going to miss him. Everybody's going to miss this dude. He was pretty awesome, but if you look it up on YouTube, Monster Vision, Joe Bob Briggs, you can find a lot of different segments put together. from different movies that he did, and I got them all downloaded. So I ain't gonna worry about missing out on them, I'm like, I can watch them at any time. It's just, you can't find that kind of entertainment anymore anywhere on TV, and back then we didn't have the internet a lot, we didn't have the resources to look up information on horror movies and stuff. We had Monster Vision, we had Joe Bob Briggs. He would give us all this trivia on his movies about everything, he would give it his own personal ratings. Like, even his signature thing with Monster Vision, with these movies, was the drive-in totals. He would talk about the different, how many dead bodies there are, how many breasts they show during the movie, how many limbs roll, different type of food, it'd be like chop suey foo, cooking chef foo, stuff like that. What's going on, Silver Surfer? Also, Commander Root, thank you for the follow. Good to have you here, as always. Thank you for the follow, Commander Root. Shout out to you, buddy. So yeah, nothing much, Silver Surfer. Just catching up on some news, man, and stuff. So anyway, guys, like I said, you sign up for Shudder, SHUDDER, on your mobile device, phone, tablet, whichever, PC. Sign up for the 7-day free trial. If you want to check him out, you can check him out right now. He's good up until 9 and 10 p.m. tonight. The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. Definitely going to miss that man. But you can always catch him on YouTube. Just look up Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs, and you can relive the classics on there. Definitely a really good program. I miss it a lot. So anyway, on with the first article I have here. As you could tell by the name of the stream. Question, how come I don't stream that much? Well, this week, I'll go into that in a little bit. I'm not going to bring up any names or anything, but let's just say this week, we had a stream. And apparently somebody got offended with something we said and did. Now, when you watch our streams, you know how wild we can get. Our streams are pretty X-rated in a way. But we don't go overboard. We don't go too overboard, Especially when it comes to certain sensitive topics. We don't spew out any kind of racial commentary or anything like that. I don't condone it. We do not condone that kind of activity at all. But there was something that one of our guests that we brought in with us, I'm not going to say their name, and they were having fun with us. We were all having fun. They were rolling out some jokes. We were rolling with it, and it was all good. And somebody was basically hosting our stream on their channel, and I guess they either found something very offensive, or one of their viewers found something very offensive, and they're part of a LBGT community. And here's the thing I want to cover with that. Okay. Now, this person who hosted the stream, they're part of this community, the LBGT. If you're unaware what that is, lesbian, bi, gay, transsexual community. Equal rights for all of them. I have nothing against them. I support them. But this person found our stream offensive with what we were doing and saying. Now, mind you, this person was in our chat, laughing it up. They hosted our stream to their channel, and they were in our chat laughing it up. They were having a good time. This person said, "Oh, I can't stop crying. I'm dying of laughter over here." And I'm like, well, it's a good thing to hear that, we're making you laugh, because that's what we're all about. And that was a pretty good stream too. I've gone back several times and rewatched it myself, and then definitely laughed my ass off. It was a really good stream. But then the following day, this person, was like, "Oh, well, it was very offensive. I was offended, on behalf of my community, blah, blah, blah. And that guest you had in there who's also a part of our community, that guest had to make an apology toward them for being on our show." And that also pretty much put on hiatus or canceled the big podcast program that I had come up with, where several of us, small time podcasters on here, we're going to get together. Different channels. It was going to be 3 different channels, different podcasters, all together, one big podcast program, just shooting the shit, talking about random stuff. It was going to be PG-13 or slightly R-rated content. It was going to be that. But because of this event that took place, and I was like, okay, well, I'm sad to come out and say that the program that I was, came up with, Gathering of the Podcasters, is on hiatus. It's not fully canceled. It's still up in the air. It just depends on what's going to happen now, basically. So, with this other person who we're friends with, it ain't no problem with them, but they're part of this community as well. And I told them I respect that. I'm not telling you, fuck you or whatever. I mean, you're part of that community. That's fine. That's cool. It's just right now where I'm standing at, I'm not going to have some other person on Twitch censor my content because they found it offensive. And I tell people all the time, it's like, if you do not enjoy our content, if you don't like our content, if you don't like what we say and what we do, don't watch it. Plain and simple. Don't come in. If you come in, watch it for a minute and say, it's not my cup of tea, then go. Don't stick around, to voice your comment, to voice your opinion that, oh, I hate you all because you're offensive. Well, get the hell out of here. Don't watch our shit. Don't be part of it. I can't stress it enough. And this week, not only with that incident right there, but also I haven't really felt the need to live stream that much anyway. So that's where I was standing at there, Silva, is, with what had happened with that, I just really haven't felt like streaming at all. And I was going to stream like Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday were kind of iffy because I was in the middle of doing stuff those days anyway. Like Thursday night, I was, I had Bane come up, we were spending some time together, hanging out and shit. But other than that, I was going to be just doing some streaming, but with what had happened, I wasn't even going to really bother. I might stream tomorrow. I might do something tomorrow. I might do something Monday. I do have a couple games I like to stream and just get back into the groove of doing that. But that's where I stand at right now is, we had somebody who was supporting us and they ended up was like, well, they're offensive. They're offensive because so-and-so is in your stream doing this and that. I'm like, well, so-and-so had a good time. So-and-so was providing a lot of the jokes, a lot of the content, and we were all rolling with it. If so-and-so was offended by anything we were saying and doing, if he felt it was wrong, then that person would have said, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to hop off of here, have a good stream, and that would have been that. That would have been that. But this person had a good time. He was enjoying himself, just like the rest of us. So, it is what it is. I still talk to that person, I have no grudges against that person, but the one who made the complaint, that's where I stand. I'm like, you know what? If you have a problem with me, with how I run my Twitch account, my streams, if you have a problem with it, don't come anywhere near my stuff, Don't come anywhere near my streams. Plain and simple. If you're offended with the stuff that we say and do, don't watch it. Plain and simple. I've been saying it since day one. If you don't like me, don't watch me. So now that we got that covered there for you, Silva, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the article, which is also the title of the stream, Twitch versus YouTube. I came across this article yesterday, And this article came out a couple days ago on the 12th. And there's a lot of this going around, you know. It's funny how this shit. Yeah, if they get offended, oh well. That's what I'm saying, man. You know, they get offended, oh well. That ain't my problem. They get offended. You know, they didn't enjoy it. You know, they felt like maybe something we said was too vulgar for them. Hey, just oh well, go somewhere else. Don't be over here policing my content. You know. So. Twitch is better, it is. YouTube has really gone down the shitter. But get this, okay. Now, yesterday, this is a different topic too, but I'm getting ready to go into it now. This past week, Twitter has finally come to terms with canceling a lot of fake Twitter accounts. So, if you are on Twitter and you have, let's say, 10,000 or 15,000 or however many Twitter followers on Twitter, and you're like, hey, I'm very popular, how about that? You know, people are following you left and right and shit. And then, of course, Twitter, what they did, they put a thing into their system to where it's deleting fake Twitter followers, fake Twitter accounts. So if you got like 10,000 Twitter followers, it's not really a coincidence. You got fake followers. You got bots that are following you, sort of, you know, spam accounts that'll follow you. And Twitter put that into account this week. So if you have 10,000 Twitter followers, you're probably back down to 1,000 or 500 or whatever, because Twitter is now doing that. And pretty soon YouTube's going to be doing the same thing, which is about time, because there are so many dead YouTube and Twitter accounts out there that are just there. You know, they follow you, but they don't really support you or watch your content. So that's what they're doing with that. And YouTube's starting to do some very tricky things. And they're very controversial. And at this point, it's like, okay, what's their next move? Well, here's their next move. YouTube terminates accounts for promoting Twitch streams. And you heard that right. YouTube terminates user accounts for promoting Twitch streams. It's enforcing a policy already on the books, but without warning. Now, of course, Twitch and YouTube are competitors right now on the market of who's got, you know, which platform is better to stream on, to host videos on, etc. Some people prefer YouTube, others prefer Twitch. I prefer Twitch because I have a little bit more creativity over here. I have a little bit more control when it comes to my audience and who interacts with me and such. Whereas with YouTube's a dead platform right now. It's strongly dying as we speak with everything that they implemented with their terms of service. Now, Twitch's terms of service can get pretty strict, but they're down to the T, you know. It's like, as long as you follow their guidelines and you're not doing anything like bashing a religious community or bashing a gay community or anything like that, as long as you're not using any racial remarks in your streams, as long as you're not airing any nudity, you know, as long as you're not doing something like sitting on camera, stripping ass naked, you know, slinging your dong all over the place, as long as you ain't doing idiotic stuff like that, you're good. I mean, hell, even one of the biggest Twitch streamers out there, Shroud, he recently got banned from PUBG because there's a clip out there on YouTube in one of the compilations and such where he was seen hopping in a car with a hacker. It was a PUBG hacker on PC. And they were implementing the hack for a flying car, so Shroud took part of it. You know, he did it jokingly. You know, he didn't know the guy. You know, he was just did it as part of a joke. But Twitch saw that even while he was streaming, so PUBG, the creators of PUBG, you know, they banned him from their servers for a month. You know, it's not a big deal. He's only banned for a month and all. But, you know, you got to watch what you say and do on Twitch. Which is what we do. You know, we get a little carried away with certain things, but it's not overboard. It's not even borderline. It's maybe close to the borderline, but it's not. We know we're not going over the borderline. You know, we're not going to go too far. We know what we're doing. We know what we're saying. So, that being said, with Twitch and YouTube, you know, like I said, they're heavy competitors right now. You know, it's like you got people leaving YouTube to come over to Twitch. You got a lot of people on Twitch who do have a YouTube channel, or they put certain content over there, whether it's their stream re-uploaded, whether it's clips from their streams that are being uploaded. Case in point, I watched this Twitch streamer called Jason Paradise, and he streams a lot of Guitar Hero related content, and it's all really good. He's a really good Guitar Hero player. Him and UKOG Monkey, they both play Rock Band or Guitar Hero. They stream it on Twitch, and then they put certain clips up on YouTube that they think are worthwhile. But other than that, let's see. The fight between YouTube and Twitch is getting uglier. Producers like Linus Tech Tips, Cerny, and Astrasis, I don't know, have complained that YouTube abruptly terminated their accounts for using videos to promote their Twitch channels, such as LTT's The Juan Show. Now, I have no issue. I have no problem with promoting a Twitch stream. When YouTube is not the only platform you're on, and you want a lot of your viewership to go over to Twitch, there's nothing wrong with promoting your content or promoting your channel, which apparently YouTube has a problem with, because they don't want anybody going over to Twitch. They want them all over here on YouTube, you know, which is bullshit, you know? It's not that the videos weren't violating rules. The site has long forbidden videos that primarily drop people off YouTube. So basically, YouTube is against people promoting Twitch. They're against people, as they say, quote unquote, drive people off of YouTube. That's not driving people off of YouTube. What's driving people off of YouTube is shit like this that YouTube is doing. YouTube has implemented a lot of dumb shit into their terms of service, to where a lot of YouTubers, even bigger YouTubers, have dropped off themselves. You know, I mean, come on, Google, don't you know already that you're losing a lot of viewership, that you're losing a lot of accounts already due to what you're doing with your platform? Rather, it is that YouTube is only enforcing the rules for videos promoting Twitch streams, and that it's being usually aggressive. It immediately terminated accounts instead of issuing strikes. I wouldn't even issue a strike. What the hell's going on with these people? This is oddly harsh when the company has been softer on channels that have done much worse, such as pushing false conspiracies that could lead to harassment and threats. Now, before I continue, that's something that YouTube should have implemented, that they should have fucking done. Right now, there are dozens, probably hundreds, of YouTube users out there that harass and attack other users on YouTube. They attack them. We have had swatting issues. We have had doxing. We have had, God, so many things. Like, you got people fucking calling up YouTubers' houses live on stream, harassing them. You got people talking shit about each other. You know, people just, in general, harassing others. They consider themselves trolls, online trolls, but they pushed it over the line to the point where they are not trolls. These are idiots abusing the system and harassing other people. Their channels get struck every single day, but is YouTube doing anything about it? Hell no. They're not even, I don't even think they're fucking watching remotely. You know, you got these YouTube channels out there that are doing this and doing that, swatting people, doxing information. YouTube's doing nothing about it. Yet a simple channel promoting their Twitch account, promoting their Twitch streams, they get terminated. That's where YouTube is losing their viewer base. That's where YouTube is losing and Twitch is winning. YouTube didn't directly address the inconsistencies in enforcement with both Engadget and Polygon asked about the terminations. Instead, it directed concerned people to Twitter posts maintaining that you can absolutely produce videos promoting Twitch and that there's no new enforcement. The statements are also problematic, however. The company didn't outline what it would consider an acceptable promotion of Twitch, or in parentheses, a brief mention at the end of an otherwise ordinary video, perhaps. And when it says enforcement hasn't changed, well, there's good reasons to be skeptical. Linus Tech Tips has been promoting Twitch streams for years, and it's a large channel with millions of subscribers. YouTube can't pretend it just discovered an obscure producer flaunting in the terms of service. The channels in question are back in action. However, the terminations are bound to raise concerns that YouTube is signaling out Twitch promotions to hurt a competitor with an increasing amount of overlap. With YouTube diving deeper into gaming and Twitch is encouraging non-gaming content, there's a real chance that some users might drift away. Not that allegations of a crackdown are likely to help YouTube's reputation. So, you're in heavy competition with each other. Okay. Twitch, I've noticed, has started doing a lot more podcasts. Not just mine, of course. I mean, I came up with the idea of doing my own podcast and hosting it right on here. But I did notice that there are some more and more podcasts and talk shows popping up on Twitch as well. You know, a lot of them talking about video games and such, but doing different things as well. You do got this kind of stuff on YouTube as, you know, also. So, here's what I do. A lot of my content on Twitch, I'll download it. And I'll re-upload it to YouTube. Because I know a lot of my users, a lot of my friends and viewers, they can't get on Twitch nowadays. They can't get on Twitch. You know, the Twitch app on the phone, that Twitch app I will say, the Twitch app on a mobile device is horrible. The Twitch app is absolutely horrible. You know, I can't even watch my own content without it buffering. You know, that little circle constantly coming up like every 30 seconds and all. So, I upload my pre-recorded content to the YouTube channel. So that way, you know, if anybody missed out on a broadcast, you know, recently, they can go to YouTube and rewatch it. I rewatch stuff. A lot of my content I'll rewatch. Streams, compilations I put together, anything, I'll rewatch that shit. You know, if nobody wants to watch it, that's fine. I'll watch it myself. It's hilarious content. It's good content. But the whole thing between YouTube and Twitch, it's gotten to the point where Twitch is going to dominate. Hey, Cypher, welcome to the show, man. It's good. Twitch is doing a lot better, I would say, for their streamers. YouTube is a little bit more better for gaming videos and a lot of different miscellaneous videos. When YouTube first came on the scene back in 2006, you know, right around when I heard the hype of YouTube, you know, you could find TV shows and such on that channel. TV shows, old school commercials, anything. YouTube has blown up to they've blown up vastly over the last 12 years. And you got hundreds and hundreds of channels out there putting different videos out there, different content. You know, everybody's being different, you know, with what they're putting. But like I said, with YouTube terminating channels for promoting their Twitch streams, their Twitch accounts, you will terminate somebody promoting a Twitch channel, but you won't investigate somebody who's using their YouTube account to harass somebody, to dox somebody, to swat somebody. YouTube won't do squat about that. And that right there is bullshit. That's a mountain of bullshit. So YouTube, in my eyes, and in the eyes of some other users out there, YouTube is dying. It's sad to say that platform is dying. I see a lot more people hopping on there to quote-unquote troll someone that they don't like. They're doing it with Kid Behind the Camera. If you're not familiar with Kid Behind the Camera, you know, he's the son of the old guy who played the Angry Grandpa show. And Kid Behind the Camera, aka Mike Green, he vlogs. That's his living. He vlogs day after day, his daily life. And that's how they're able to afford their luxury of, 2 houses, 4 cars, all kind of shit. He's a financial genius. He also has another job too. He works with a promoting agent or something for the WWE or whoever he is. Paul Heyman. I don't know what his position is, but you got people out there that are trolling him. They're harassing him. They're doxing his information. They're slandering his name left and right. But do you think he cares? No, because he knows that these people are complete idiots and all they want is the attention. But that's what I'm getting at, is the fact that YouTube won't do anything about those channels harassing someone else. But they'll take down a channel for merely promoting their Twitch account. That's wrong. They're both in strong competition with each other. Maybe YouTube should try to do something a little different that maybe Twitch isn't doing, or maybe Twitch should do something that YouTube isn't doing. But right now, they're both kind of steady line, but Twitch is on the rise heavily. More and more people are coming over to Twitch, streaming on Twitch, whatever. Twitch is getting up there. I'd rather stay on Twitch. I'd rather stream on Twitch. It's a little bit more better of a platform. I have a little bit more control with my censorship. I have a little bit more control with, people who come in and chat with me, other than with like YouTube. Like with YouTube, let's say I was streaming on YouTube right now, and I had people coming in, harassing me in the chats, and I'm like, okay, banned, goodbye. You know how easy it is to make several different Google accounts and just log into those accounts and continue doing what you're doing. I have a little bit more control on Twitch with that issue. At least like right now, it's open to anybody who follows or anybody who watches with an account. They can comment. Now, I could set it up to where only my subscribers and my moderators could chat with me. So if anybody with a troll account, if they wanted to chat with me, they're going to have to hit that subscribe button and pay that $4.99 a month. Just to say, hey, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Then I ban them. And I'm like, well, you done paid, so thanks for the $5. Like, you just paid $5 to come in here and harass me? Well, guess what? You ain't getting it back. So, moving on. With this Battle Royale craze that's been going on for, I think, about a year, a little over a year. One of the first Battle Royale games to come out, and I've heard about it a year ago, or the last couple of years. It actually came out in 2016, I think. Was called The Calling. I heard about it. I've always wanted to try it, but I never knew anything about it. So, well, not only that, it was also a Steam game, too. It was on Steam, and I didn't have the proper PC to play it at that time. So, The Calling came and went. It was a Battle Royale game, which pitted, I think, about 60 players amongst each other. Where, like, right now, you got games like Fortnite and PUBG. They're pitting 100 players against each other. Well, when The Calling came out, it was a phenomenon. But then they shut down the services after a while. They shut down the servers to work on, their next entry. So it's like, okay, you had this game, which was a big hit to a lot of people. People were loving it. And then you pissed the fans off when you say you weren't going to work on the servers anymore. You work on something else. So you cut all the servers to where nobody's playing it online anymore. So then the Calling 2 comes out. Calling 2 came out last week. Or this week. Actually, let's see. July 10th? Was it this week? Yeah, it came out this past Tuesday. Okay. Here's the funny news for you. The Calling 2 launched July 10th. 18 hours later, it only had 2 players on the servers. 2 That's sad. Alright, before I continue with this, there was a game on PlayStation 4 I remember buying for $39.99. $40 I wasted on this game. Lawbreakers. It was an Overwatch clone, basically, for PS4. It was supposed to be a really good and, really good title, the hype was real, but the game fell real short of the hype, basically. I played it. I streamed. Actually, when I first started this channel, that was like the first game that I streamed on here. I don't even think I have that stream anymore. That was the first stream I did was for Lawbreakers, and I wasn't too thrilled with it myself. I wasted $40 on that game. To this day, I don't even think anybody's on the servers anymore from when I last checked. They said that game was dying. It's dead. It's gone. And that was one game that really felt short. I mean, it felt like there was something missing. I did not enjoy. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it. I knew something wasn't there with that game, and I was right. Now this game right here, The Calling 2, that beat Lawbreakers. That beat them in a long stretch. When the first came out, you had 249 players drop. At 18 hours after it launched, they only remained with 2 players. Oh, I said The Calling came out in 2016. I'm sorry. It came out October 2017. That was my bad. I'm sorry about that. For some reason, I thought it came out in 2016, but it came out in 2017. So, the original Calling launched October of 2017 following an early access phase. It was one of the early pre-PUBG Battle Royale games, pitting 16 players against one another in a melee-focused arena full of loot. The Calling 2 was teased only a few weeks ago, with the first gameplay trailer hitting July 9th, announcing the game's release date of July 10th, a quick turnaround. So, they put a trailer out the day before it comes out. So, right there, their marketing strategy for this game, for promoting this game, is already too soon. So, that's already a sign of, yeah, this game is already dead. So, the game launched on the 10th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, priced at $20. So, you didn't really lose that much, I would say, $20 for this game. But still, I have a better way of throwing away $20. I could go to the bathroom right now, take me a humongous shit, and I could take that $20 bill and wipe my ass, and I would feel satisfied. I would. That's a better way of wasting $20 right there than on this game, apparently. Instead of building upon what made the first game unique, developers Xaviant Games instead decided to pivot to what can only be described as a PUBG/H1Z1 clone, dropping the melee focus and instead adding the usual guns, armor, helmets, backpack loots gameplay. Fans of the original turned to social media, Twitch, and Steam, which was what it came out on, to express their frustrations and disappointments. The game peaked at 249 players shortly after launching on Steam. 18 hours later, the game has 2 players. And I'm looking at a chart which basically graphs it within a 48-hour period. Well, somebody said right now there's only like 4 people, I think 4 or 5 people on the servers right now, which is pretty sad. That they're like, come on, people, get on. Yeah, fuck this shit. Considering the game aims to pit 50 players against one another, these player numbers make the gameplay near impossible to experience properly. To put these numbers in perspective, there's more folks playing Lawbreakers right now. Oh, shit. That is a bold statement right there. There's more folks playing Lawbreakers, a great game, I might add, in my opinion, right now, than The Calling 2. That is sad. That's very ironic, too. That a game like Lawbreakers, which wasn't that impressive when it first came out, that's pretty ironic and sad to say that Lawbreakers has more people on it right now than The Calling. That's saying a lot. This might end up being one of the biggest launch disasters in recent video game history. Fans were already unhappy with the way the development team left the original, dropping support for the game while leaving the servers running at limited capacity only months after its official launch. Their handling of The Calling team seems to be bafflingly naive, not only removing what made the original unique, but also charging $20 in a competitive climate. The resulting Steam reviews are currently sitting at 127 negative reviews versus 20 positive. So there's 20 people out there that are saying, hey, this game is great. It ain't so great now. Why don't you get online and play with those two people that are waiting patiently to play with somebody, okay? It's safe to say the studio will have to make a substantial pivot to be able to salvage the situation. We'll be keeping a close eye on this. So, if you look back on games that came out like in the 80s, okay, look back on the Atari 2600, okay. That was a phenomenal console right there. A home gaming console, the Atari 2600. Alright. That game had a lot of great titles to it. But there were some bad decisions that were made toward the end. Now, one of them, a lot of people will say, is E.T. Because the game was rushed right after, I think it was like right after around when the movie came out. Steven Spielberg looked to Atari and said, look, you know, not Steven Spielberg alone, but, you know, people working on the movie, you know, people, you know, with the, you know, licensing and everything. They looked to, oh God, I forgot what his name was. He worked for Atari. They look to him and say, hey, we want a game made for the movie, but we need it made to release around the holiday season, come out before Christmas. So they had 6 weeks, I believe it was, 6 or 8 weeks to make this game. It was rushed. People were disappointed with it. Sales were disappointing with this game. Not a whole lot of copies of the game were made. They were, you know, they told them, make this many copies of the game. There was copies of the game being returned to stores. That's how bad that was. But E.T. wasn't the only game that put them under the rug. You had the blatant copies of Pac-Man for Atari 2600. People were unsatisfied with that. It didn't look like the official Pac-Man experience that you played in the arcade. Nor was a few other games. So, with these games like that, and there were several of them, and they made so many copies of these games that came out. And a lot of them were being returned, a lot of them didn't sell, so they were negative on their profits. And that pretty much started the whole, the crash of 1983-84 with the video games. You know, the video game crash in 1983-84. Was, you know, they were putting all this money out to make these games and promoting these games, but they weren't selling that well. So they were, I guess they were trying to file for bankruptcy and stuff like that. I don't know the whole story. I forgot the whole story. But what ended up with all these extra cartridges and stuff, since they couldn't sell them, they took them out to a landfill in New Mexico, and they buried that shit in the landfill. Now, for so many years, people, you know, sought after it, and people were saying, oh, it's just a myth, it's a legend, this and that. Wrong. 4 or 5 years ago, a group went out to that landfill, they dug it up, and they did find all those cartridges for all those Atari systems. You know, they found cartridges for E.T., Pac-Man, So much other stuff. Consoles. They found the controllers. That's video game history right there. I will talk about that sometime in the future. And of course, Nintendo rose rose the video game industry from the ashes, and history is made again for that. But I'm saying, like, games like that back then crashed the video game industry. Is a game like The Calling 2 going to do the same thing? Not really, because nowadays a lot of gaming industries, they have the money to cover this shit. They have all the money, to cover another game. If they lose one game, yeah, it's going to set them back and such, but is that going to make the entire video game industry crumble? Fuck no. Back then you had Atari, ColecoVision, and Television, but Atari was the biggest one in the video game industry back in 83 and 84. Today, look at how many platforms have their hands in the video game industry. You got PC gamers with Steam, Origin, Bethesda, Blizzard. You have consoles like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. The video game industry is not going to go bankrupt or going to go down anytime soon over one game like this. But it is pretty bad. When you work on a game like this and it does that bad, I could see the developer going under, going bankrupt or whatever. I mean, they made this game. They charged $20 for it. And how many people bought the game? Looks like about 249 people. I would say, I guess about 249 people bought this piece of shit. And only 2 are still on there. So, who knows? So let's move on to something else here. This is a interesting topic here. This one, it says it came out 8 days ago. I don't know when this actually. It might have came out 8 days ago when I found this article. But we're going back to net neutrality again. We've done lost that fucking battle. Thank you, shit pie. You fucking piece of garbage. California lawmakers reached a deal on net neutrality bill after gutting it last month. Well, of course, this is California. I ain't gotta worry about California. I'm on the East Coast. This revised bill that went through California goes further than the original net neutrality rules that the FCC repealed earlier this year. Let's see. California has been trying to implement its own set of net neutrality rules similar to the ones that the FCC recently repealed. What does this mean? This really means that they're trying to implement their own laws that the net neutrality law, was basically put in place. Net neutrality protects online users. You're about to head out, and I'll catch you later, man. Thank you for stopping by anyway, Cypher. It's good to hear from you, man. So yeah, net neutrality was put into place to protect online users and such. To keep ISPs from basically raping you each month when it comes to subscription services and stuff like that. Fees and all that. So California was trying to implement their own set, but lawmakers have not been able to agree on some key provisions. This changed this week. Yeah, not last week, this week. I would say last week. Yeah, actually 8 days ago. Yeah, last week. It changed last week when state legislators announcing a deal on what they say is a strong and enforceable proposal. It's been a turbulent road to this point. State Senator Scott Weiner, whatever the fuck his name is, introduced the bill in January in hopes to restore a net neutrality regulation on the state level. The bill was passed by the Senate, but was later gutted by the State Assembly Communications Committee, led by Assemblyman whatever. Okay, so let's see. Citing his bill, this and that. So basically, they're trying to implement this bill so that California don't have to worry about, having their online user, anybody who's using like Verizon, AT&T, anything of that nature, any kind of ISP. They want to keep them from being overcharged and rate for certain services that, they want to charge them for. Like, the whole net neutrality thing, it was good having net neutrality. You know, Obama put it into place to protect us. And I know that pissed off the government a lot. You know, it even pissed off internet service providers because they lost the freedom to overcharge us and shit. They lost the freedom to do this and do that. But net neutrality was put into place to protect us. It was put into place to protect us. That way, you know, we can surf the internet, you know, at high speeds that we're paying for. Surf the internet safely, you know, without any problems at all. And then this idiot that Donald Trump put into place as chairman of the FCC decides, oh, this is what I'm going to repeal. That way, you know, internet service providers could be free to rape you in the ass at any time they feel. So if you're paying $120 a month for Verizon, Fios, maybe like the 1 gigabit, the 1 gigabit speed, guess what? Next month, Verizon could raise that. And you say, okay, well, we're raising it to 140, 150. Plus, if you enjoy your video streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Twitch, etc., we're going to have to, you know, include a package for that. That's only going to cost you $20 more a month to stream it at that high speed quality. If not, that's fine. You can still stream it, but it's going to be very laggy and it's going to be very shitty quality. That's basically what's going to happen. Now, Verizon and AT&T, not AT&T, Comcast, they've already come out and said, oh, we're not going to do that. We promise, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, how do we fucking know? How do we know you're not going to do that? So California lawmakers, you know, they're trying to put this bill into place. Let's see. After Donald Trump's FCC obliterated net neutrality, we stepped in to protect California residents and businesses to ensure an open internet, Weiner said in a statement. For months, we have worked on a broad coalition to pass strong and enforceable net neutrality protections. As internet service providers and media companies like AT&T and Time Warner consolidate, net neutrality is more important than ever. Assuming the bill passes, California still faces an uphill battle. That's because the FCC's Restoring Internet Freedom Order claims to preempt any state or local requirements that are inconsistent with the agency's net neutrality repeal. So basically saying, whatever the FCC puts into place, they got a hard fight to go. You know, they have a hard battle to go against. You know, it's gonna be a hard battle. So basically, they're gonna be fighting the FCC over this shit. That's basically what it is. They're gonna be fighting the FCC over this shit, which is complete and utter bullshit. I swear to God, you know, this is why we can't have nice things. You know, this is why we can't have nice things anymore. Let me go on to this last article. I was going to make this one article on here. The last one is a good one, but I'll save that for next week's episode. Let me talk about, real quick, John Wick 3. Keanu Reeves revealed the official title. If you're into those films, John Wick, where he's kind of like an assassin, works for a group of assassins or with a group of assassins, you know, and the plot is kind of complicated, but it makes for a pretty good action movie with Keanu Reeves, and it's one of his best films since The Matrix and maybe a couple others. But Keanu Reeves has officially revealed the title of John Wick 3 to be John Wick Parabellum. The actor first portrayed a character in the 2014 film, which was a successful enough critically and commercially to spawn a franchise. Last year's John Wick Chapter 2 was an even bigger hit, earning $171.5 million worldwide, and ended up with a rather tantalizing cliffhanger, meaning a third installment was in order. Production on what has been called Chapter 3 started back in May, well ahead of its premiere next summer. Also in May, the film's working title changed from Alpha Cop to Parabellum. So apparently it was going to be called John Wick Alpha Cop, but now it's John Wick Parabellum, which is the Latin word for prepare for war. Okay. As it turns out, director Chad Stahelski, I don't know, and company liked the name so much they decided to let it stick. John Wick 3's official subtitle is Parabellum. Well, let's see. Reeves also went on to say in the interview, prepare for war. It's part of the famous sentence, si vis pacem parabellum, which translate as, if you want peace, prepare for war. All things considered, this is actually a fitting title for the trilogy's closing installment. So Part 3 is going to be the last film in the John Wick series. Fans may recall at the end of Chapter 2, John was excommunicado from the Continental. Yeah, the Continental. I can't read today, God. And had to go on a run for his own safety. Judging by the way things left off, Parabellum is essentially going to be John Wick versus the world, as the former hitman wards off everyone who wants to earn the $14 million bounty on his head. Presumably, this could be the end of the road for Mr. Wick, as the phrase Reeves references alludes to John's pursuit of finding a peaceful existence. So yeah, this is going to be the final film in the franchise. He's going to go out with a bang. This is going to be a really good movie. It's kind of one of those underrated movies. I know a lot of people have seen it, but you don't hear too much about it. But this is going to be a good entry, for the series. And that pretty much wraps it up for today, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Like I said, I was going to do this yesterday. Ended up doing it today. I may do a stream tomorrow. If not, I'll do one Monday sometime. Not sure what I will be streaming yet. But don't worry. I mean, you guys should be looking forward to something here real soon. I haven't done a stream since this past Sunday. Like I said, all things considering with what is going on. Hopefully you guys stick around. Check us out. As always, guys, thank you for joining me today. Wolf, Silva, and Cypher, thank you for coming in. Guys, if you're just now joining in, be sure to follow us on Twitter at ArrowOfficial17 for any updates on when we're going to be streaming and what we're going to be streaming next. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you right here.